Hello guys, it's Glurmit here. Now, I just want to quickly apologize for it being bright white. I've tried everything. I'm not very good with Google Slides, and that's how today's video has been presented. So just appreciate it is going to be white. But hey, it's alright. Farming guide is out. This is going to be a long video, guys. So please don't be afraid to go grab a coffee, grab a cup of tea, some water, whatever you need. Have some lemonade, I don't know, whatever you guys drink these days. Just sit back and relax. This is going to be a long video, guys. Now, if you don't want to watch the full video, I'm going to be uploading a shorter version, which is going to be from in-game, just literally going over the characters with farming, nothing else. This is going over everything on a 2-year plan, and I'll try and update this farming guide every year, continuing basically on from this one, and then we'll also do a second one for that year as well. Also, we will be doing a free-to-play guide, we'll be doing a free-to-play account going along with this guide, following it step by step, which I'll be starting this Friday. Okay, guys, so do be excited to watch that. So, guys, free-to-play farming guide 2025. Now, before we get going, there is a slight problem we do need to look at, and that is the light speed problem, guys. Basically, since previous guides I've made in the past, notably Starkiller Rush version 2 and Starkiller Rush version 3, I genuinely did believe Starkiller was one of the best characters to go for so long, and I still think he's a great character to go for. However, everybody now has Galactic Legends. Everybody now has characters such as Afra, such as GI, such as Starkiller. And it's going to make Grand Arena so incredibly difficult to progress. Whereas before you could still get up to Erodium, up to Kyber in not a quick period, but it was possible. People have done it. It's been proven. Whereas now you just have the struggle, which is competing against Wales. And guys, if we're talking free to play, right, we're going to assume everyone else is not, because that's how we're going to progress the best. And I'm going to try and make this video most accessible to newer players as well, so we're going to be covering everything possible. But basically, Lightspeed bundles, whilst they're great for the health of the game and allowing people to catch up if they want to spend the money, for those people who are joining now and aren't spending, you are going to face the problem where as you progress in the game, it's going to become more and more difficult to keep up. You know, how would you cope when your opponent's got Kylo, Rey, Jabba, and C within 6 months because they bought all the bundles, right? And that's why getting a good start is more important than ever, guys. Like, whereas before, you know, you could go for Starkiller, you could go for JML, Jabba, whatever, and that would kind of carry you enough. I don't think that's really the case anymore. And if you're a free-to-play player and your main goal is to go into Grand Arena and win everything, then I think you need to take a second and think through all the points that we talk about in today's video. So it is very important to consider Lightspeed problems and Lightspeed bundles and how it does impact free-to-play players. So there are ways we can overcome this, guys. I'm going to quickly move myself down just so you guys can see the last line. And really, what we're talking about here today, guys, is just because they spent money on those Lightspeed bundles does not mean they're automatically going to crush you and progress faster than you, right? There's a few issues Lightspeed bundles do, or the players who buy them do encounter. The first is mods. Many people buy the Lightspeed bundles and they don't have good mods, or, you know, they're unlocking characters so quickly that characters who need speed, fundamentally need speed, do not have it. Right? And we're looking at characters like Mara Jade. We're looking at characters such as Seventh Sister, Fifth Brother in an Inquisitor team. We're looking at characters such as maybe Garif Karga in a Bounty Hunter team. Maybe even Zam. I know she's not necessarily Lightspeed bundle, but you guys are seeing what I'm saying, right? So just because they're spending does not mean their account is up to the quality it should be. There's a reason, guys, and just so you know, I do lots of roster reviews if you're new to the channel. If you're not, you know I do lots of reviews, and we look at so many accounts, so many people that buy the bundles, so many people that don't. And one of the big differences I do notice between people that buy it and people that don't is the people that buy the Lightspeed bundles tend to have really bad mods for their GP, whereas someone who doesn't is able to punch up because they have those good mods. And it's not just that. If you have good mods, I mean, I'm in Kyber, guys, and I don't really check mods as much as I probably should, but people don't check everything, and they might say, you're 4 million GP, there's no way I lose. They go in, you tell me to train them, you win. So mods is crucial. Now the next thing is people are buying Lightspeed bundles, for example the Jabba one, and they're just leaving everything at unlock level. You know, you're buying so many bundles, you're unlocking so many characters, there's an OCD factor here that comes into play where players are just not investing in the teams as they should. So you as a free-to-play player can take this to your advantage, and I'm telling you, if you unlock Jabba and you take his team to R7, yes, it's expensive, right? Free-to-play or pay-to-play, whatever, but you are a major advantage over someone who spent and didn't. For so many reasons, for TB, for TW, for GAC, for raids if they're ever a raid team. So it is important to be investing in teams, and we'll be talking about that during a video as well. And then we have Zetas, guys. Just because you have a team doesn't mean it's usable. Just remember that, guys. Right, on to the next one. Passive income is key. Guys, this is the worst graph I've ever made in my life. At least it's not bright white, right? Yeah, guys, this is just, ignore the numbers. It's just supposed to show you free-to-play players, you start at a smaller line. However, if you are efficient and you go for passive income over someone who just spends, you're going to overtake them over time. It may not be year 2, it may be year 3, but over time you're going to ascend above them. I actually wanted to do a line graph, but I couldn't set it. Guys, I'm awful with this sort of stuff. But yeah, just hopefully this gives you the idea. You know, Lightspeed bundles, people who spend money, they're going to be getting to those higher points quicker, but then they're going to plateau and they're not going to go all the way up. Whereas you, someone who watched this guide, maybe you're actually going to be progressing slower to begin with, but once everything's in place, you're going to go straight up above them, and you're going to be progressing so quick. It will almost be like you're spending money and you're not. So guys, these are some key characters who will be appearing in the guide, because I just want to take a second and say, I feel like I'm at university again, like doing this presentation. I'm not used to these sorts of videos. However, I really wanted to do a detailed guide for the farming plan this year, and I feel like this is a much easier way to do it, because you guys can obviously see the information on the screen as well, and you can pause and read it as you go along. So key characters, basically what the guide is built around, in no particular order: Jabba, Leia, JML, JKCK, JKL, Beskar, sorry, it's not Beskar, it's Bo-Katan Mandalorian, and Star Killer. Guys, Star Killer. Also include exec in here, but I just want to go for characters rather than ships. All of these are important when we're talking about each and every one as we go along. Key teams that are going to be appearing throughout the guide include Imperial Troopers, Bad Batch, Empire, Bounty Hunters, Hutt Cartel, Smugglers with Dash, Smugglers with Sana, Rebel Fighters, Phoenix, CLS, Mandalorians, and there are way more teams to come. We'll be talking about so many teams, guys. It's not even funny. Now, before we continue on, we do need to carry on outlining the problems we're going to be facing, because to really grow your account and for an account to be successful, we need to understand the limitations and the issues that are going to be arising. One of them is with Grand Arena. Now guys, Grand Arena is the main source of crystals. Despite what you say, Fleet Arena may give you a lot, but in terms of the main source of crystals we're going to be getting in this game, it is through Grand Arena, because you're getting those daily crystals, which in Kyber is well above 200, just for signing up, just for playing. And obviously winning in Kyber is 900, and as you scale down, it does go lower. Whereas Fleet Arena, you're looking at max, 400, and that's not even guaranteed, because someone's probably going to hit you on the last minute like they do with me lately. So yeah, this is a bit of a problem. And due to Lightspeed bundles, it's just not a reliable source of income for free-to-play players. So we basically need to find a way around this crystal crunch we're going to have, and we need to kind of adjust our plan accordingly. Unfortunately, guys, there are going to be games we just can't win. There's going to be games where your opponent has Jabba on defense, Leia on defense. They're just going to outmuscle you. It does happen. It happens to even people in Kyber, guys. There'll be people that unlock the newest stuff, and you just don't have it. That's mainly with data crons rather than characters, but still, the point still stands. So, you know, go in for a character, like I said, just for GAG. Just going for a GL for GAG, like SLKR, for example. or going for Ray for a defensive team, or going for Starkiller on his own is not going to be enough to win you games anymore, which is why this plan is more about the general focus for an account. You guys remember the Starkiller rush, right? And there are people that followed that. I've seen accounts that are very successful. However, they did it before all these changes came into place. You just need to accept it, guys. It will take time. You remember that graph? You know, after a few years, you know, a few months, whatever the time frame may be, you're going to be having success, but it's not going to come straight away. It just won't. You need to understand that. This isn't a quick fix for today or tomorrow. You're going to be there. This is going to take a while. Just understand that, guys. And just last thing, people do sandbag. It's a bit scummy. It happens. Anyway, here's the quote of the video, guys. I would love to say I found this from someone else, but it was actually my quote. I came up with it when I'm not going to say what I was doing, but I was just occupied in the moment. I had a eureka moment. A player is only as good as his or her guild. It's that simple, guys. You can spend the most money in the time, but if you're not in a good guild, you're not going to be progressing fast. Now, obviously, some of you will be in a guild for fun and with friends, and I completely understand that and accept that. But if you are free to play and you do want to grow at the best possible rate, you need to be in a good guild. Now, what does a good guild give you? It gives you relic materials, it gives you relic 9 materials, relic 8 materials, it gives you some signal data every so often, it's giving you zetas reliably if you're in a good TW guild, it's giving you datacron mats, which we will be using throughout the guide. You know, it's not just that, it gives you a good source of knowledge. If you're a newer player being in a good guild surrounded by good players, you're going to learn a lot of information. Alternatively, being in a bad guild, being in a guild with bad advisors in there, you're going to be learning the wrong things. They're going to be teaching you things you don't need. They're going to be telling you things you shouldn't know. As a new player, guys, as a free-to-play player, your resources and your knowledge is so important. And being in a bad environment can negatively impact that. So being in a good guild is so important. That's why it really is true when I say a player's only as good as their guild. It's not even a case of the rewards you're gaining from the guild. It's the knowledge you gain along the way. Now, also being in a good guild can increase enjoyment. And that is kind of the point of the game, guys. If you don't enjoy it, don't play. And being in a good guild eventually solves the Cairo issue and eventually gives you just early access or easy access, to every Gear 12 you could ever need, especially on older characters. So, how do we actually get into a good guild? Well, guys, to begin with, we need to be focusing on Wat Tambor. Because if you don't get Wat Tambor in those first 6 months, you're not going to get him. It's that simple. Or if you do, you're going to be slowing down your account progress quite a lot because you're going to have to go and merc, and some guilds don't even like that. So my advice is get Geos done ASAP, right? Get them done first, get them out of the way, get Wat Tambor unlocked because you're going to want him. You don't have to go for him. Don't get me wrong, you can say, okay, I don't want Wat Tambor, I'm going to skip it. But if you do that, you're missing out on JMK down the line. You're making Conquest harder, and everything else that comes with it. We're not going to be focusing on Ki-Adi-Mundi at all, guys. He's not required for anything at the moment. That may change down the line. He's a good character on a Qui-Gon team, but Qui-Gon's not even part of this plan. So don't worry about it. And if you want to get into a really good guild, guys, and this kind of the point of this plan, Bo-Katan Mandalorian is going to be the key, the golden ticket. Because so many guilds want Jedi Knight Cal and Bo. And I did originally have GI in this as like the Trinity, right? Bo, Cal, GI. But unfortunately, GI's lost a little bit of that appeal, mainly because of lightspeed bundles. But then also he just wasn't as important anyways because Reva's unlocked by many people now. You know, even if you think nowadays, even if you get 50 out of 50 for Reva, everyone's just getting shard currency. Whereas with Bo and with Jedi Knight Cal, it's not shard currency, guys. It's get 3. It's actually get 2. My apologies there. And you get so much of it that you're getting hundreds of Kyrotech each month because you do the TB twice. So it's always going to have that value. Guilds are always going to be looking for this. So you can really skip that Cairo crunch and speed everything up. And guys, that's how you get this graph we spoke about. You hit the Kyrotech from these farms and it just seed you above everyone else that is farming. And obviously, don't forget raid teams, guys. If you want to get into a good guild, get some raid teams. I know it sucks. When a raid comes out, I'll make videos. Other people can make videos as well. Just pick 1 or 2 teams. Take them to maybe R3 if you can, R5 if you really can. Don't go any higher than that to begin with, unless they're a very good team. But having raid teams, one is a good source of increasing your roster depth, and the other one is raids are here for a while. So it's just nice to invest in them, get the characters going, get the rewards coming in. Guys, this is the next step. We're going to be talking about assault battles. So there are 9 assault battles in the game. We have Duel of Fates, Forest Moon, Ground War, Military Might, Places of Power, Rebel Roundup, Secrets and Shadows, and then we also have the Fanatical Devotion and the Imperial Remnant one, which I can't remember what the name of it is. So with the exception of the Imperial Remnants and Duel of Fates, they are all upwards to Challenge Tier 1, Challenge Tier 2, Challenge Tier 3. And they can all be done with low gear, for the most part. Obviously, Duel of Fates and the Imperial Remnant one cannot, and they are done differently. Now, we're going to be aiming to do 7 of them, to at least Challenge Tier 1 or the equivalent, and I'm going to class the equivalent at the Relic 7 tier for Duel of Fates. Now, what is this going to be giving you? It's going to be giving you passive income for Relic mats, including Relic 8 if you do Duel of Fates. It's going to be giving you mod materials. That's mainly from Duel of Fates, but you do actually get mods themselves from the other ones. You get some fleet currency, some ships, shard currency, credits, everything else from all of them. You're going to get loads of Zetas, loads of Chirotech. We're talking like 70 plus Chirotech a month just from assault battles. We're talking, 1 to 2 Zetas from assault battles that is going to be adding up over time. So automatically, you're a major advantage by doing these. Now, obviously, you want to go higher than CT1, but that is the baseline for us. That is what we're aiming for in the very beginning. Now, our focus is going to be on building the teams for these assault battles. Obviously, we want to prioritize teams that work in more than one assault battle. And the teams we're actually building are going to be ranging from Night Sisters. We're going to be going for the OG and Merrin one, so that's going to be Towson lead with a Sarge in there. We're going to be putting Merrin in there, Daka in it, and Zombie. Now, you could say it's better off going for Great Mothers, and I can kind of understand that to an extent. Let me just move myself down so you guys can see this. I do kind of understand going for Great Mothers. However, the reason we're going to be going for normal Night Sisters is because even at Gear 12, as long as you have Merrin leveled up, that is your Jabber, 2-shot Jabber counter, right? So that is going to have that value. Great Mothers, unfortunately, whilst they're amazing, they really are an amazing team, it's unaccelerated, it's more Chirotech heavy, and yeah, it's just not as good at low gear compared to the original Night Sisters, which can still do Challenge Tier 1 without a problem. Jedi, we're just going to be talking about that as we go on when we go into other teams here. Bounty Hunters, Challenge Tier 1 will be easy with Bosk, Dengar, Boba, you know it from the Executive Farm. However, when you unlock Jabba, that's how you do CT3. Imperial Troopers going to be doing 2 of them. We're going to be using Gideon in there, we're going to be using Piet in there, Dark Trooper, Veers, you name it, Imperial Troopers is the way. And then we're going to be finishing up with CLS. And then the final one is Sith and First Order. First Order is not part of this plan today, guys. DR, Malik, and the Sith are, but they are not at the beginning. So this is the CT that will take a while to catch up on. However, like I said here in the bottom, you guys will be reading it. You cannot use Traya with Talon. You cannot use Traya with Talon, Cyan, and Nihilus to actually make some progress in that Challenge Tier 1. It's a bit difficult. Maybe you need a few relics in there, but it can work without farming Malik. Do not sleep on the Duel of Fates, guys. It's by far the best assault battle, especially for any free-to-play account. The mods, the relic materials, everything's going to be speeding everything up, and that's why we're going to be taking to R7. It's a priority, guys, because the second you get them done, massively the R rates are coming in, so you don't need to go out of your way to farm them. You don't need to spend any of your gear on injectors, because by the time you get to the next point, you're applying an R8 or even an R9, you probably already got it made passively. And that's the key here, guys. Saving resources and using them wisely. Right, guys. So what is the first relics? So I didn't want to put too many in because otherwise it's not really the first relics. I think you could change this up, but this is what I'm going to be doing when I use the account, when I run the account. The two priorities need to be Padawan Obi-Wan and Master Qui-Gon Jinn. They don't have to be the first two, but if they are, that's a bonus. And I know some of you will be saying, but Glamit, I really don't want to do this. They're unaccelerated. Well, firstly, they're going to be accelerated within the next couple of months. And the second thing is, the second they are done, you just get so many resources. There's actually a image coming up in the next slide, I think, to show you, to just reiterate that. DAC is in there just because it's going to make that Night Sister one a bit more usable and make Night Sisters in general nicer. Dark Trooper's a bit of an optional one, but if you want that extra offense for Troopers, that's well worth it. Piet. You can be doing Executor anyways, guys, so getting Piet done nice and early is amazing. And then Bounty Hunters, just getting them done nice and early gives you a good team. Zam Omicron, applying Zam there, taking it to Relic is also going to boost that team a lot. Zam, you will see Bounty Hunters and Zam is like the go-to team for this account, because of the strategy and the farming plan we're actually following. Now guys, another thing is defensive teams are important. So we are talking basically 1 to 3 teams, not every single team. But if you do want to start making progress in Grand Arena and Territory War, you do need some stable teams. Because I'm telling you now, if you're someone who just goes and sets, Gear 12 GOs, you rubbish teams on defense every single GAC, if your opponent plays, you're losing. If your opponent doesn't play, fair enough, you're going to win. But we need to pick 1 to 3 teams which are defensively viable, which we invest in. And this can be down the line. This can be your GLs, which are part of the plan. This could be your Bounty Hunters, which in the end game, with good mods, especially on Zam, can pull good squads. And the benefit here is we can apply data crunch. Now, we don't need too many teams, because until you get into Bronzium, until you get into Rhodium, or even Chromium, you only need a couple of teams anyway, so we don't need to go too crazy. But just pick a couple of teams and invest in them to relic levels for Datacrons. It's going to help you so much, guys, especially from a free-to-play perspective. So some examples I actually gave here was Dengar to high relics, because Dengar changes the fleets. This also does include fleets, guys. Dengar might not be the best character in normal play, but his ship's so pivotal in a lot of counters that having him high relic could be the difference in a win and a loss. Alright guys, so this is the farm order. This is the one you guys have been waiting for. I'm going to reposition myself again. Alright guys, so here we go. The farm order for the account. This is the one you guys have been waiting for. The main priority, the first farm, is going to be the Assault Battle farm. This is going to be the Duel of Fates of Master Qui-Gon and Padawan Obi-Wan. This is the absolute main priority for the account. There is no other way around it. And the fact is, if you get this done nice and early, everything is going to be sped up. Everything. When you go to do PX to R8, it's so much quicker. When you go to do Jabba down the line, it's so much quicker. When you go to do Leia, it's so much quicker. When you do Profundity, it's only the R9 you need to worry about, which hopefully everything else got you into good guild. Then we've got Executor and the Bounty Hunter crew. I put Bounty Hunter crew because I wanted to include Zam there. She's not an Executor requirement. But again, if you have the opportunity to finish a team off to be able to use it to full extent, just remember guys, Bounty Hunters are incredibly good in Grand Arena, in Territory War. And if there's ever TM crons, you can do way more damage. So another character you might want to take up for your Bounty Hunter teams, maybe Grief and maybe Mando, who you will have to farm anyways to unlock the Executor, because you need Beskar, Armor, Mandalorian there. And then we've got Bo-Katan Mandalorian, and you need Beskar Mando for them, so it makes sense to do Executor before you do Bo. But Bo is the next farm, and we'll be talking about that more in a second. We've got Jabba here. He's the first GL we're going to be going for, following it by JML, following it by Leia, finishing with Profundity. And you can see Star Killer is in, but you just complete it whenever you have the time, guys. So, Duel of Fates. I need to move my camera here again, guys. Sorry about that. So, guys, Duel of Fates. This image was actually taken from the gerbil, so just bear that in mind, guys. I got it off the internet, but the gerbil made this, so thank you so much to them for making this. And you can clearly see, if you can get up to the Relic 7 tier, you're going to be getting some shard shop currency, because you're going to get the shards just naturally down here. You're going to be getting some credits, which will help with leveling stuff up. Now, you're going to be getting some mods, so we're going to be getting all of these. This is enough to 6 dot a mod, and we're going to be refreshing this tier each month. Now, as long as you can do it to the Relic 7 tier, we're going to be getting ourselves 100, 200 crystals. So it's only going to cost around about 500 crystals. It's going to be about, what, 549 crystals to do this. But that's 100% worth it, guys, because it's going to be giving us a 6 dot mod, some credits, and everything else. You can choose to refresh the other tiers, but as a free-to-play player, it's a bit more difficult. Mods are so important, guys, so you have to be prioritizing them above everything else. But you can see we're going to be getting some impulses, some aero magnifiers, some signal data. Remember, for all of these tiers, it's one or the other. The only one you get all of them is on the mods. So, for example, on tier 4, you might get carbonite circuit boards, you might get bronzium wirings or transistors, but then you'll also get one of the 3 signal datas, and that does carry over as well. Obviously, you can do the R9s, but as a free-to-play player, that is not the priority to begin with. Then we have, I've got to move myself again. Then we have Executor. Well, we need BAM for Bo-Katan Mandalorian. That's so confusing reading BAM, BKM. Anyways, yeah, we need BAM to get Bo-Katan. So we have no choice. She is the pinnacle of these. She is what the guide is really based around. So to get her, we have to do BAM. So we might as well do Executor on the way. Executor is an amazing fleet. It guarantees you good fleet placements. You know, it can beat everything in GAC. It can defend against almost everything in GAC. It works at low stars. You don't need to star it up super soon. But we do need to be getting Punishing One nice and early. So we're going to be farming that as well. We're also going to be using these slicing mats gained from the Jewel of Fates to actually get up on 6 dot mods nice and early. Will make a massive difference. Once a pilot's done, never touch them again. They don't have to have the best mods. Just go on .gg or watch a Glowmit video, you know, or Captain Amazing as well does really good modding videos. Go find out the mods they need, 6 dot them nice and early, and go from there. And also, it's going to give us one of our main offensive teams, which will eventually transition to defense. In Bounty Hunters, all we will need to do is farm Zam. Now, I say farm because she won't have any progress, whereas obviously Mandalorian and Grief will. You'll just need to relic them up as well. Next up, we have Bo-Katan Mandalorian, and she's just so important for a good guild, guys. She's going to be preventing the Cairo Crunch, as we've spoken already. She's going to be countering so many GLs. She can be used in TB, TW, GAC, so you get value all across the board. She's basically like a GL in herself, and the best thing about her is she just isn't bad, guys, in terms of requirements. There's only one character you maybe need to farm for her team, which will be Armorer or Bo-Katan, the normal one. I mean, you have an option there. But the main thing to take away from this is her requirements are her team at decent relic levels, which also helps out a bunch. You know, IG-12 goes in the team, Paz goes in the team, Beskar Mando goes in the team. So it's just a really nice farm for a free-to-play player to do. And the benefit is you're getting a good guild, you're getting all those resources, and that's really the appeal. Now, why would you go for Jabba? Well, Jabba is just the best free-to-play friendly GL. You can see there mods. The second you get him, you're getting like 6 to 8, maybe even more 6 dot mods passively given to you. You add on the Assault Battle, you're now at 10 to 12 mods a month, just 6 dot passively. That's 2 characters every month, 2 pilots you can do without taking away anything. That's not including your GAC, you know, it's not including your GAC results. So you can get those 6 dot mods done nice and early. He's needed for TB, GAC, and TW. Having Jabba will also get you into good guild because he's a good Galactic Legend. And honestly, he's just going to be a staple on defense for all time. Yeah, there will be counters. Yeah, Night Sisters beat him, but that can be changed with modding and relic levels. Like I said earlier, guys, a big part of this plan is to be taking those teams to higher relic levels as we go along. Now, in terms of the team we're going to be farming, obviously Jabba's in the team, Embo's going to be farmed up, and then we'll probably be running Boba in there, so we can leave Skiff Lando at R5, and we'll be prioritizing Boba, Leia, Embo. and Chrysanthemum to at least R7 with good modding on Chrysanthemum, which I'm sure there's videos out there, or maybe even I have one, or will have one by the time you watch this, so you guys know how to mod your Jabba team for this. And the last thing to say, guys, is it does lead really well into the next GL farms. So JML is the next farm. Now this one is a little bit of a weird one. You can actually interchange it with the next one, which is Leia. You can do either or first. Now for me personally, I think JML is the better to go for first. The reason being, JML is the best unit in Conquest. It's not even close. It's not even close, guys. He's literally the best unit, and you can also pair him up with Padawan Obi-Wan and his Omicron, which we're going to be talking about in a bit, to help you Conquest. You need to be hitting 4 million GP as soon as possible, and you also need to be getting to the point where you're maxing out Conquest, you're getting red crate, because if you can't do that, you're just not going to have success. You're not going to get these key characters you need to get. And just remember, guys, the second you get to 4 million GP, you're setting yourself a 12-month timer roughly before you even unlock anyone. A year. So the sooner you get to 4 million GP, the sooner you get to red crate. Sorry, it's not red crate, it's just beating the final boss. As soon as you can do that, you're going to be in a position where you can grow very, very nicely. And that's why I think JML should go second. He's also a little bit easier on Rex because there's no R8s needed. And another benefit is he starts to work on a profundity fleet. He's also a very good GL on offense, not so much on defense. And he obviously works with future farms. Leia, obviously you can interchange her with JML. That's completely up to you guys. I'll be going for JML before Leia. She's a staple on GAC on both offense and defense. She gives you some passive Omicrons, but I mean, it's nice. You're not going to be getting many. It's like 1 guaranteed a month, maybe 3 if you're lucky. And it follows nicely from the quad farm ending in Profundity. And it is key we get Profundity in this plan, guys. I don't want people to be skipping out on it. Profundity is a key part of this farm because we're trying to build an account to last and to overtake other people. And having those additional fleets is a big part of that. As I said in here in the text, I do prefer JML for Conquest, but I do understand some of you why you'd go for Leia before you go for JML. And then we finish it off with Profundity. And now we are locked out of getting Leviathan, so there's no reason to include that in the plan. It's quite expensive anyways. It needs Conquest units. We can't really do anything about that. We're talking Malgus. We're talking Malgus's ship. Malgus isn't required himself, but obviously his ship is. And we're talking, 2 R9s, a few R7s. It's expensive, so don't worry about Leviathan. But the next best thing is Profundity, and if we can get to the point where we have 3 GLs and 2 GL ships at maybe 5 or 6 million GP, maybe even lower, who knows, then you have an amazingly good account. You do have the option to invest in bigs. I have a video that came out this week on it as of uploading this video. You don't need to go for the Mark 6 Interceptor. You can actually run it with bigs. You can upgrade him for this. Obviously that's up to you as a free-to-play player if you think your resources are well used there. If not, don't worry about it. It's going to help you clear those fleets in GAG and TW. And it also gives good relic levels to your teams. And the best thing about it is you can actually use the Leia team that has Adrad and Jin in it, which is an amazing team that will stand the test of time because of the way the team functions. Adrad prevents the death of Jin, and Jin also just, for some reason, everyone likes to target her, so on a defense, or on offense, sorry, it makes battles easier, and on defense, it just causes some problems with revives and such. So Profundity is a big part of this. Then we have Starkiller, guys. Now you can do Starkiller at any point. He is a must, and the reason you must have Starkiller is because Ray's so common. Because everyone has Ray at this point. It's not even close. Everyone has Ray. Just assume every opponent's going to have Ray because of the Lightspeed bundles. So you need a counter, and the best counter is Starkiller. And eventually he's going to transition to Serum Malakos and become your Leia and Jabba counter. Now the other thing is you already have 3 characters we've probably been working on at this point. We spoke about Rebel Fighters earlier. We're going to be farming Kyle Katarn, we're going to be farming Mothma. Remember guys, I'm going to have this shorter video to watch as well. This is more of the theory behind it. In the shorter video I'll show you the exact teams, the exact characters in game, so I do recommend you go watch that, or maybe you came there and watch this one after. This is more of the theory behind the farming plan rather than the actual characters themselves. Right guys, I had to go double check I confused myself by saying Kyle and Cal. Right, so you're already going to have 3 of them farmed. You're going to have Kyle farmed, you're probably going to have Talon farmed for your Treya team, we're probably also going to have Dash farmed, so the only one we have to go out of our way to farm is Mara Jade. So it's a no-brainer to get him. His team's pretty low investment. You don't really need relic levels on it at all either to begin with, although that does help down the line. And if you wait on Starkiller for a bit and do some of the assault battles, the Kyrotech will become a lot easier, so you don't need to worry too much about that. It's also only an R5 unlock, so it's not too difficult to get. JKCK, same reason as Bo-Katan Mandalorian, guys. JKCK is needed to get into a good guild. The passive income is unbelievable. He's also going to make JML much better. So I would say for him, wait until you have JML and then start working on JKCK. You're probably already going to have Merrin by this point, so it shouldn't take you too long. It's only a Gear 12 unlock. And again, they are Kyrotech heavy, but by doing all the precursor, the predecessing requirements, you should be in a good position to do so. Right, guys. So here's a few of the Journey Guide characters we're going to be focusing on. Chewie, we're going to be unlocking him. There's no rush to get him done, but we're going to be using the exact bounty hunters to complete it. As C-3PO, we're actually going to be farming Nisa in there to get her unlocked, because Nisa's needed for Leia, so we can kind of balance out our plans. It will take a little bit longer to unlock because Nisa's obviously a hard mode, but it's not too bad, guys. I would recommend Nisa in there for the unlock. JKCK, we'll be farming 3 of them regardless. Merrin's for the assault battle. Just finish whenever you're ready. Will help get a good guild, like we already spoke about. Jednet Revan, Darth Revan, and Malik. Once you farm JML, we can finish this for Jednet Revan. Again, there's no rush to get this. It's a good squad. It's easy to unlock. You don't need a lot of gear. A couple of relic levels is all you really need. And in the grand scheme of things, we'll probably be leaving everyone at Gear 12 anyways, with the exception of Jednet Revan, Darth Revan, Malik. It's really Darth Revan's teams can get relicked, Jednet Revan's teams not until we go for Leviathan. Starkiller, see earlier slide, as already said, guys. Starkiller's just here. We'll be going for him at some point. And then, in terms of the rest of them, GI, we're going to ignore, guys. I hate to say it, I think GI is a great character, but it's just too intensive to farm. And I think that the resources are better used elsewhere. You can also get into a perfectly good guild with the other characters mentioned, Bo-Katan Mandalorian, and also with Jedi Knight Cal, rather than GI. So as soon as you get Reva or you're close to getting her, which you will passively be doing, then we're going to go back and finish GI, and that's a priority at that point. And then we're going to be doing Treya. This is our priority for raid tokens. We're just going to leave her at Gear 12, but getting her unlocked in Omicron is key. Guys, this one is the one that I think a lot of you are going to be finding interesting. We have Conquest characters. I did warn you guys, it's going to be a long video. We're already at like 40 minutes long, so if you're still here, maybe leave a like, comment, whatever, subscribe. Thank you so much, guys. So what I've done here is I've broken it down by Zetas and Omicrons, and I've listed the characters we're investing in. All the others we're not going to worry about to begin with. The reason we're having to do it this way, guys, is because we're assuming we're starting today, and all these characters are in Proving Grounds as of making this video. And because they're all in and we're starting from the same point, every single one of them will be unlocked on the same day. We can't invest in all of them at once. It's literally impossible. We can save all the gear in the world. We're not going to get all of them done on the same day. So, guys, we're looking at maybe 12 to 15 months, unless we broke crazy, and then maybe 12 months to get to that 4 million GP. And I think even that's being generous. I think we're looking at about the 12 to 15 months, about 1 to 1.5 years. And then you're looking at an additional year to unlock all the characters. It's going to take a while, guys, unless you refresh. So make sure when you get to the point where you're 4 million GP, you start saving Zetas, start saving Omicrons, because it's going to take a while to save them all up. So that as soon as you do unlock them, you can get these characters up and running. The others are great. Cat's great, Maul's great, but obviously we don't have a Mandalorian team built like Maul does. You know, we don't have a Padme team really built. We don't have all of that, so it's not a necessity for us. We don't have Kylo built. We don't have Rey built, so don't worry about Ben. Don't worry about Goth Rey. Trench, Boba Fett, San Django, DTMG, also ignore. We're going to be going for Malicos, 3 Omicrons, 3 Zetas. I would like to see people apply all 3 Omicrons. He's going to be your get out of jail free card. There's so many teams, so many counters. Bane, just 1 Omicron, 1 Zeta. Queen Amidala, 2 Omicrons, 2 Zetas. Luthen, 1 Omicron, all the Zetas possible. Malgus, we're going to be doing 1 Omicron, 2 Zetas. Those are the key ones, and the reason we're doing Malgus is because we're going to be going for Leviathan obviously in the future. Obviously gear these up eventually, but this is your priority, guys. This is your priority. These characters here, they're going to make the biggest difference to your account. Queen Amidala, you basically have her team already at this point. You've had them for ages. They're probably being run with Quebec, for example. Malgus, we've already farmed DR by this point, so you get to use him with Malgus. Luthen's can make your Mothma team insane. Malakos will go with Starkiller in 3s or 5s or whatever. Really good character to have. And then this is the important thing, guys. Don't be afraid. If we have enough crystals, maybe we did really well in GAC 1 week and we saved the crystals. You know, do a couple of refreshes on one character and then do one on another. So for example, we could do 2 refreshes on Malakos and then we could do 1 on Bane. And what that's going to mean is we have 2 months between unlocking Malakos and unlocking everyone else because we did those 2 refreshes. So I'm not saying to refresh them all the way, but I'm saying in terms of staggering your gear, don't be afraid just to do 1 or 2 refreshes and then passively do the rest, just because it's going to make it so you don't unlock everything on the same month, which would cause a gear, Cairo, everything problem. The other problem you're going to have is if you do it the same way, right, for just unlock everyone at once, you're going to be saving so much gear, your account's going to be stagnating. You don't want that to happen. So don't be afraid to do a relic or a refresh just to speed everything up. Galactic Legends, guys, I've included the ones that aren't in the plan. Raisin on the list. She's a great GL, but I just don't think she's worth going for outside of light speed bundles. Maybe in the second year of the account you can go for her. Kylo, amazing character, but he just doesn't have as much value as he used to do anymore. He's great in offense, but you have to kind of go out of your way to get him, and I think the other GLs are better. Lord Vader, very expensive, great character, but we will be taking Bad Batch to gear 11. We won't be farming Lord Vader to begin with. Ahsoka's not in the plan at all. JMK's only in the plan once we have Commander Ahsoka. When you have Commander Ahsoka, then you can farm JMK. Sith Eternal, honestly, you can include him at any point, because he's not detouring too much. So I'm not against you going for him. Kylo we will go for down the line, but he's not one of the core characters we're going for. Guys, we now have mods. So what I've done here, I'm trying to find where I can. Guys, I'll just move my face when I get to the next points. So what I've done here is I've broken it down into the best way we're going to manage mods on the account. So we need good mods. This is how we're going to be beating those teams. This is how we're going to be beating those players we spoke about earlier. All pilots need 6E mods at a minimum. Every pilot, there is no exception. Every pilot can be taken to gear 12. Every pilot can be given 6E mods because we're going to be getting so many passively. This is also going to be massively speeding up the rate we're going to be unlocking those 4 million GP requirements for Conquest. So it's very important we're doing this. We're also talking 1 refresh a day at a minimum. If we're doing well in fleets, make it 2 or 3. And the plan for farming the mods is the following. So I can move this now. We're doing a 3-week split. And we're going to go week 1 and week 2 is going to be our repeat of the first week. So we're going to do 3 days speed mods, 2 days for offense mods, 2 days for health. It can be any day. It's just that amount. Right? It can be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It can be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's up to you. I don't care. Just 3 days of speed, 2 days of offense, and 2 days of health. We're going to do that 2 times, and then on the 3rd week, we're going to do 2 days of defense, 1 day of potency, 1 day of tenacity, 2 days of crit damage, and the last day can be used for whatever you want. Slicing mats, you could do. I would recommend not to do that, but you can. We can do an extra day of potency, an extra day of tenacity, the elder crit chance, although that isn't as necessary. And this is going to give you that good balance. What you're going to find is almost every character in the game needs offense, health, or speed. However, these are still good mods to have, you just don't need as many of them. So we're only going to be doing them every so often. Remember guys, 1 refresh, absolutely you need to be doing. And there's no exception, you get enough crystals just through doing Galactic War and your dailies to be doing that 1 refresh. I don't want to see anyone doing less, because if you aren't doing well in mods, you're not going to succeed with this plan, guys. The mods are so important. Right. We also see we won't be farming slicing mats to begin with, as we have Jabba and this battle for this, so we don't need to worry about slicing materials. We'll just be passively getting that. Right guys, key Zetas. There's obviously loads more, but these are the first few Zetas we'll be applying. We've got Dakka's unique, Vandal's unique, Mothma lead, Piet unique, and then we're also going to include a little bit here, but GBA as well, just to get the pre-summon if you do Geos. Those are just the core ones you're going to need first. When you see the other video, you'll see the exact characters we're using. Or maybe I go and actually do a second edit at the end of this one. We have a look in game as well. We could do that, but the video is becoming quite long, guys. It's like 46 minutes at the moment. Ooh, Omicrons. Wampa, very good but optional. Padawan Obi-Wan, optional. I will be doing this and heavily recommend it. We spoke about Conquest, how important it is. The value, yes, it might fall off in the end game when you get there in a few years, like 3 or 4 years, right? Until you get there, it's constant value. Red creating becomes easier, maxing out Conquest becomes easier. That in itself is worth it, and he goes with JML, which is very nice. Zam is a must-have for the plan. Bo-Katan Mandalorian, lead and unique is a must-have. Savage is a must-have, Trey is a must-have, and Poggle will help you find a good guild, so I would recommend this one. Poggle is the one that falls off the most, but guys, you're free to play. You're probably not going to be progressing too fast to begin with. Very nice Omicron to have, because a lot of guilds look for it, and a lot of guilds will see, oh yeah, Poggle Omicron, you've got some TB teams, maybe we'll take you on, despite you being a smaller GP player. Datacrons. I know you don't want to farm them. We don't need level 9s, but we do need good level 3s. This is why we're taking those good defensive teams up to relics. Datacrons we'll be looking at in particular, Savage and Wampa. If you do the Omicrons, make sure you have one cron for both of them, just to make solos go a little bit smoother. Raids. There's not really much to say here, guys. Basically all we're going from here is that everyone, and I mean everyone, should eventually have 1 to 2 teams, R3 to 5. We won't count the Naboo raid, because by the time you've seen this guy and you've started everything up and you've got to the point where you can do that, the raid's probably changed. So what I'd say is when the new raids come out, come back to the channel, check out what I've put out, what other people have put out, and just pick 1 or 2 teams to farm. TB, obviously we've got a special mission for Cow and Seer, we've got the special mission for Bo-Katan Mandalorian, we've got Geos for What, and then if you do all of this, enjoy the Endless Kyrotech. Territory War, we've got Poggle Omicron, Quebec will get his Omicron, and any others are completely optional. Linking farms, this just goes back to what I was saying earlier, guys. We're going to be making sure to link the farms nicely. That's why we're going for the Jabba into JML, into Late, into Profundity, because it all links very nice. Starkiller fills in there as well, Jedi Knight Cow as well, because of the Assault Battle farms. All of them link very nicely, meaning you don't have to detour too far. That's why we're not going for Rey, that's why we're not going for Kylo. It's not that they're bad, it's that we're having to divert resources away from elsewhere, and doing this strategy, farming these teams in this order, is going to be helping us the most for progressing nice and quick. Alright guys, let's move on to currency. You guys keep on thinking the video is going to end. It just continues to go on. Right, so with your guild currency, prioritize unlocking all characters. Han and Trey have the priority here, but every character needs to be 7-starred. Once they're all done, then we'll be farming specifically the 100 cost. There's 2 of them that pop up for 100 guild currency each. Those are the ones we're going to be doing. Squad Arena, same as this one, except we're going to be focusing on fleet prestige once we've finished all the characters. Get 1 characters, then after that, gear 13 pieces left side. Get 2 ships. We're going to prioritizing Malevolence over Negotiator, and the reason for that is the Endurance is actually a good fleet now, so we can run Endurance to begin with, and then eventually we go to the Negotiator. Also, 7-star Malevolence is very nice and can be used for a Profundity counter with TIE Bomber. As Empire's not really a fleet we're going to be running too much. Get 3, only Kyrotech, nothing else. GAC, only Kyros, nothing else. Shard Shop, we're going to be buying the gear 13 pieces. There's 2 that pop up together. Fleet, all ships need to be done. Prioritize GG and Razor Crest wherever possible. Now, I was going to do a split for each energy. I don't think that's too important. But what I do want to be talking about is your Cantina energy and a priority for this. So we're going to do a 7-day split, and we're going to do 4 and 3. 4 days for characters, 3 days for signal data. Because otherwise what's going to happen is you're just not going to have enough signal data to progress the relic levels. And 4 days for characters is enough to progress. It's going to be a little bit slower to farm the characters, but you're going to be getting that signal data as you go along. There's no priority on which signal data you could farm. You could do all 3 incomplete and then all 3 fragmented, whatever, or you can do 1-1-1, and this is going to enable you to continue relicking up characters without slowing down farms too much. Right guys, thank you for watching the presentation for the account. I'm actually going to go sit down for 10 minutes, just realign everything in game, and then we're going to be back for an edit. I'm going to include all the teams and characters in this one as well. And then, like I said guys, you might have come from the other one. There is going to be a second video posted that's only going to be about 10 minutes long, literally just covering the characters, nothing else. For those of you that don't have almost an hour to watch this video today. Anyways, if you made it this far, please like, comment, and subscribe. You guys are amazing, and I hope this video has been somewhat useful. Alright guys, we've returned. We're back in game. Everything is laid out in here. So this is in game, just so you guys have an idea of what we're looking at. So Geos to gear 12. We then have Quebec, who we would farm up with Master Qui-Gon and Padawan Obi-Wan for a team. You don't need to relic Quebec straight away, but just having him geared up with these to relic will be enough for the most part. Treya and this team, you don't have to do Scion, that's completely up to you, but this is not a bad team to have, obviously low gear viable. You could even just do Treya, Savage, Nihilus and Talon. We then have Mothma. We would do Scout and Pal because that's eventually what you're going to want. Biggs is going to be farmed up obviously for profundity for the counter there down the line. We then have Imperial Troopers with Veers, Piet, Gideon, Range and Dark Trooper. We then have Bosk, Zam, Grief, Mando and Fennec. Fennec would be needed for Jabba down the line, so there's no harm in getting her done nice and early. Zam obviously is a key here. You could replace Fennec with Boba, who's part of the exec requirements, but I've got it on unique only, so you're going to see he's in a different team here. It's mainly just the squad, not necessarily the actual composition that matters. We've got CLS here as well. We've got Night Sisters, there's Bo-Katan Mandalorian, Sana. This is why we're going to be going for Sana guys, because you're basically getting her team for free. The only character we would need to gear up is Stormtrooper Han. Kara is going to be at gear 12 because of the Beskar Mando event. Leia, Rebel Officer Leia and Captain Han are there for the JKL event, so there's no harm in just getting this team at least Stormtrooper Han and Sana to gear 12. Dash I've just left here. You can use him with any scoundrels. You could use him with IG-11 and Quill. You could also use him with basically anyone of your choice. Jabba's the first GL. This is the lineup I would recommend, but honestly you can substitute Boba for Lando if you want. Also Skiff Lando can go on your Dash team as well guys, if you really wanted. Passing turns is awesome. Then we have JML with the good team. Eventually that will be what we're farming down the line, and then you can see we have Leia with the profundity requirements in there, and then we also have Seer and Cal who will be farming up at some point. And now in terms of what each team's doing, obviously Geos is going to be doing the Wat Tambor mission. These guys are going to be doing the first assault battle that we spoke about, the Duel of Fates. Trey is just there to do the Sith assault battle, and then also gives you the GAC value. Mothma is there for just general play. Honestly, Kyle's just being fun because he's that good. You could probably skip this, but I would recommend this as just a cheap low gear team, because the only characters we're going to be gearing up is going to be Kyle and Biggs. Imperial Troopers will be doing 2 of the assault battles. Bounty Hunters can do 1 of them, but obviously leads into exec. CLS does the other assault battle, and obviously you need them for Jabba, Leia and JML. Towson does the Secrets and Shadows assault battle. We would probably need to relic Daka, but very nice team. And obviously Merrin's later needed for Jedi Knight Cal. Bo-Katan Mandalorian, like I said guys, we've already at this point we got Beck farmed, and then obviously we've got these guys here chilling as well. Sana we've already spoken about. Dash we've already spoken about. Obviously he's a profundity requirement, so we would want to farm him at some point. Might as well make use of his team, and then the rest is kind of history guys. So that's the characters we'll probably be farming. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I tried to make it as detailed as possible. I didn't want to make this one of those farming guides where I'm like, farm this specific team, this specific character. I tried to keep it a little bit more lenient. That's why it's not as much you farm this character at this point, because I do think that I don't like the cookie cutter templates. I don't want someone to watch this farming guide and just copy it, carbon copy. I would like to inspire you, but this is what I think is the best farming plan or farming method for the game. as a free-to-play player, because you're going to get some good teams. Yes, like I said, guys, the beginning is going to be a little bit of a drag. It's going to take a while to get going, but once you do, I reckon within a year and a half, you can have 2 GL ships, 3 Galactic Legends, basically 2 almost GLs, Bo-Katan and Starkiller. You could probably have JKCK if you wanted, but that one might be a bit of a stretch. And then you have some good teams up here as well. And with all of that, you should honestly be in a really, really good position to push on and do whatever you want. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Share it to your guildmate, share it to your friends, whatever. It all helps the channel a bunch. And as always, guys, have a glowing day.